Elon Musk, the polarizing tech mogul behind Tesla, SpaceX, and other ventures, has once again found himself at the center of public scrutiny following a detailed report by the New York Times alleging serious and consistent drug use. These claims come just 2 days after Musk confirmed his departure from President Donald Trump's administration, where he had been serving in a controversial advisory role. The timing of the report has raised eyebrows and sparked widespread debate across political, technological, and corporate spheres. While Musk has never hidden his support for unconventional approaches or his sometimes erratic public behavior, the depth and seriousness of these latest allegations mark a new chapter in the ongoing saga of one of the most enigmatic figures of the 21st century. According to the New York Times, Musk's alleged drug use was not limited to casual experimentation. Sources close to the situation, including former colleagues and members of corporate boards, claim that Musk engaged in frequent and, at times, daily consumption of substances like ketamine, LSD, MDMA, commonly known as ecstasy, and psychedelic mushrooms. While Musk has publicly admitted to using ketamine under medical supervision for depression, this report suggests a broader, more recreational pattern that allegedly extended into high-profile corporate and political settings. These revelations point to a lifestyle that could be at odds with the responsibilities of leading multibillion-dollar companies and serving in a governmental advisory role. Concerns about Musk's behavior reportedly reached the upper echelons of Tesla and SpaceX's leadership. Board members were said to have discussed internally the impact of Musk's drug use on his decision-making and leadership. Some directors even claimed they felt pressured to join in drug use at private gatherings in order not to jeopardize their relationships with Musk or lose influence in companies where his presence is pivotal. This created an environment of blurred boundaries between personal indulgence and professional accountability, something that may have reverberated across both companies, particularly in sensitive periods when stock prices, major launches, or technological milestones were at stake. Though Musk's legal team and public relations apparatus have consistently asserted that he has never failed a drug test, insiders have raised doubts about the effectiveness and transparency of the drug screening processes, particularly given Musk's high status and the economic power he wields. In fact, the report highlights the skepticism shared by some investors and employees, who have started questioning the rigor of internal safeguards when it comes to executive conduct. This has intensified calls for corporate governance reforms within Musk-led organizations, as shareholders grow wary of the reputational and financial risks involved. The issue becomes more complicated when examined through the lens of Musk's involvement in the Trump administration. Musk was appointed to head the Department of Government Efficiency, satirically dubbed DOGE in reference to his cryptocurrency interests, a position he held for 130 days before resigning abruptly. During that time, he promoted policies emphasizing deregulation, privatization of federal services, and the use of AI in administrative systems. Musk supporters praised him for bringing innovative ideas into government, but critics argued that his proposals often lacked depth and feasibility. The revelation that Musk was allegedly engaging in serious drug use during this period has added a new dimension to those criticisms. Was his policymaking influenced by substance use? Did his personal life interfere with his public responsibilities? These are questions that now dominate discussions among policymakers, media commentators, and citizens alike. Adding to the intrigue is the fact that Musk was one of the top donors to Trump's campaign, reportedly contributing as much as $275 million. The nature of this financial support, whether it was entirely above board or influenced by ulterior motives, is now under renewed scrutiny. Musk's departure from Trump's administration was sudden but not entirely unexpected. In his farewell statement, he expressed frustration over what he called the inefficiency of bureaucracy, and openly criticized the administration's flagship legislation, known informally as the Big Beautiful Bill, for its astronomical increase to the national deficit, an estimated $3.8 trillion. This critique was unusual for Musk, who had until then aligned himself publicly with many of Trump's economic policies. His abrupt pivot added to speculation that deeper personal or strategic factors were at play, including possible internal conflicts, disillusionment, or mounting pressure due to media investigations into his conduct. The Times report has also reignited public debate about the responsibilities of public figures, especially those who wield outsized influence across industries and political systems. Elon Musk is not just a CEO, he's a cultural symbol of futurism, rebellion against norms, and entrepreneurial genius. That image, however, now faces a harsh test as allegations about unchecked behavior and substance abuse challenge the credibility and stability of his leadership. Detractors argue that his erratic tweets, controversial decisions, like the abrupt rebranding of Twitter to X, and now reported drug use are not just personal quirks but signs of potentially dangerous volatility in someone with enormous power. Defenders, on the other hand, caution against conflating personal choices with professional ability. They point to Musk's continued innovation, strong financial performance of his companies, and visionary goals, from space colonization to sustainable energy, as evidence that his leadership remains effective. Furthermore, many emphasize that drug use, especially in the context of mental health treatment, should be viewed through a compassionate, nuanced lens. After all, Musk himself has spoken candidly about his struggles with depression and the therapeutic role of ketamine. Critics of the report also accuse the media of timing and sensationalism, suggesting that the publication of the allegations so close to Musk's political exit is more than mere coincidence. Nevertheless, the potential fallout from the report is far from trivial. Regulatory agencies may feel compelled to investigate whether any violations occurred under Musk's watch, especially in relation to federal contracts or stockholder disclosures. Already, there are whispers that Tesla and SpaceX might face renewed oversight from the SEC or FAA, particularly if evidence emerges that key decisions were made under impaired judgment. Internally, both companies may undergo stricter governance reforms or even witness shifts in executive leadership to reassure stakeholders. For the broader public, this story offers a potent mix of celebrity intrigue, corporate drama, and political theater. It invites larger conversations about how society handles powerful individuals who operate on the fringes of both brilliance and instability. Elon Musk's legacy, always complex and evolving, now hangs in a delicate balance. Whether he can weather this storm or if it marks the beginning of a more sustained unraveling remains to be seen. Ultimately, the New York Times expose forces a reckoning, not just for Musk, but for the institutions that enabled his rise and continue to depend on his success.